confirm some pages. Guys, we're going to rock and roll here on the show fairly shortly. Live on YouTube, J-Dubs. Noise.
I don't know if you've seen that guy.
You talked to your parents about the additional apartments at Calf Crossing?
No.
I'm curious of what their take is on that. That's their neck of the woods.
Yeah, they live past there.
Yeah. Like and share the show, viewers and listeners. Like and share the show. What do you think the special BOV meeting is about?
Probably what kind of response they're going to give to
the Kenterprise?
Now a lot of people. You think it's about the Kenterprise?
I think it's the Kenterprise because they have a separate meeting about the UVA presidential search.
Yeah.
There's 2 meetings on Monday.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I think the Monday nondescript Super DL meeting is about the Kenterprise. Or what were you thinking it was about?
I was thinking about what kind of response they're going to give to what is now Cree Deeds, Katrina Carlson, and now the entire UVA faculty senate asking for answers.
On why Mahoney basically entered into an agreement with the Trump administration?
Yeah. And of course, there are also questions about what happened to President Jim Ryan.
Is the Jim Ryan storyline now?
It's coming back up because as the Senate faculty made note of, if the agreement that they made was similar to what the administration and DOJ were asking for, then what was the reason for pushing out President Ryan? And if it's so different, then I don't know. But there are questions about why they did what they did.
Yeah, good points. We'll have that conversation. That's a good conversation. Retweet the show. Ginny Who, thank you for the retweet. Appreciate you on Twitter, Ginny Who. Viewers and listeners, like and share the show. If there was a local food and beverage brand, local to CVille, right? Which local to CVille food and beverage brand would you say has the best upsize from a franchise standpoint? Viewers and listeners, that's a question for you. Ginny Who, that's a question for you. John Blair, that's a question for you.
Nationwide?
Yeah, if you took a Charlottesville brand and chose to franchise it, which has the most upside? I mean, some obvious ones.
I've got a pick.
What would you say? What's your pick?
I think you guessed it.
Riverside?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
What would your pick be?
I'd go with Bodo's.
Yeah, that's a good one. Hard to beat that one.
Yeah, it's unique.
You know what? Bodo's has got to be the front runner, right? If local to Charlottesville and you try to franchise it, what would it be? It's hard to beat that one. All right, we'll create a top 5. Grab a pen and paper, and we'll do it with the help of viewers and listeners like Forrest Callan, like Rob Neal, like Janice Boyce Trevelyan, William McChesney, Kit Ashley. Kit Ashley's got a good one. Anything she's doing with Monsoon is scalable. I sincerely mean that, Kit. She's got a location in Madison, Wisconsin that she's got ownership stake in.
Nice.
Of all her brands, and she's got wonderful brands, Kit, I hope you hear this. I think Monsoon has got the most upside from a franchise standpoint into other markets. She crushes it with her food.
Doubt.
Chris Fairchild, hello.
And that's a great name, too.
The Fluvanna Fluco. I know. I love that name. Absolutely love that name. Jay Wyant is watching the program. The Titan of Troy. Jay Wyant, the gentleman farmer. Scott Thorpe, the commercial broker. Logan Wells Claylow, the residential broker, watching the program. Holly Foster, the queen of Henrico. Crystal Johnson. Michael Guthrie, residential broker, watching the program. Mark Coleman, thank you for watching the show. Philip Dow, mayor of Scottsville, watching the program. Catherine DeSucia, she's got a fantastic, fundamentally sound forehand. Jeremy Hu, one of the biggest Virginia fans I know. Gigi Gilmer, watching the show. Georgia Supervisor Pruitt. Dave Riddick, watching the program. The Queen of Jack Jewett, Carol Thorpe, watching the program. I believe Scott Link is watching in Germany right now. Like and share the show, viewers and listeners. Take a look at the headlines. We work hard for you. Literally the only thing we ask in return is that you guys like and share the show. Literally the only thing. If you can do us that favor, That would mean the world to us. I think we're ready to rock and roll. Are you ready to rock and roll, Judah?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask you which headline most intrigues you and why, like I always do. Is the two-shot ready to go?
I think so.
Generally, you are surprised when I ask you which headline most intrigues you and why, which I find surprising because I ask you that question every day.
Lots of times I'm in the middle of getting the show going, and I'm just
I
like,
get that.
I don't know.
I'm
Now
in the
I've gotta
middle of
stop.
getting the show going too. That's why I try to prepare. I ask the same question every time, so you can rattle off. All right, let's rock and roll, my friend. When you're ready, should we go with a try it differently and start with the studio camera and then go into a one shot? Your call. You're the director. I'm trying not to micromanage as much. That's very difficult for me, as you know. All right, let's rock and roll when you're ready.
All right. Quiet on the set.
Welcome to the I Love CVille show, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us. A pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille network. Today's show airs live wherever you get your social media, your podcasting content. We're on every single platform, and the show is for your enjoyment in real time or an evergreen nature on demand. Excited to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille network on a show presented today by Conan Owen and Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. Conan Owen and Sir Speedy of Central Virginia are just a fantastic business development partner. I sincerely mean that. The banner that's directly behind me, it's called a Step and Repeat. It's a Sir Speedy of Central Virginia Step and Repeat banner. The vinyl window signage on our storefront windows, Sir Speedy of Central Virginia. They're helping us manage the signage for 24 tenants in our real estate commercial portfolio and a number of our clients outside of our building on Market Street that we're helping from a brand strategy consultation standpoint to help them gain market share. Conan Owen's a Darden graduate. He's a guy that you can trust to grow and build your small business. A lot we're going to cover on the broadcast today. I'm going to ask you, the viewer and listener, this question. If there's a brand local to Charlottesville food and beverage business that you would pick to franchise and try to grow Virginia-wide, Mid-Atlantic-wide, East Coast-wide, national-wide, globally-wide, which brands would you put on a short list? Judah's come up with probably number one, Bodo's. The volume of customers they're doing at Bodo's is a lot of dough, figuratively and metaphorically for their owners. We're going to talk what else is on that short list. I think Riverside goes on there, but as part of what makes Riverside great, it's nostalgia, it's old school charm that would be difficult to scale through like flair and through aesthetic and through design and feng shui. Like what makes Riverside so great on High Street is when you walk in and you see the ceiling tiles have stains and the booths haven't been changed and it's the same staff, it's the same flat top, it's the same bathrooms, it's the same menu, it's the same quirky parking lot. How would you conceivably scale that? I can see how you could scale and franchise Bodo's.
Yeah, and smash burgers aren't exactly...
Are you two-shotted? Are you the voice of God right there? Smash burgers are franchisable. There's smash burgers everywhere and anywhere. Shake Shack is a good example.
That's the problem.
Oh, you're saying, well, you're not saying the bagel category is saturated?
No, I don't know that I've ever seen a place like Bodo's. I mean, there are obviously places where you can get bagels or bagel sandwiches, but
Goldberg's Bagels is a perfect example, a New York favorite. Locations in the Hamptons, Southampton, we go there often. Einstein Brothers Bagels is another one. There's franchise bagels. What's that?
Where's Einstein?
I mean,
I've just never, I mean, I've never seen bagel sandwiches as a thing by itself.
Panera Bread has bagel sandwiches.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't go to Panera.
Now, to your point, there's no bagel-centered businesses.
Yeah.
There's bakery-centered businesses. Okay, but no, bagel-centered. Great Harvest has bagel sandwiches. Great Harvest is a fantastic client of the show. We help them purchase, the current owners of Great Harvest, we help them purchase their the business from Eileen, the previous owner. Chris and Tracy Crowley are fantastic.
And they've got
keep a lookout on Chris and Tracy opening a second location in the very near future, which we're helping with.
There.
We're going to talk about all these topics and more today on the program. We're going to talk Virginia football as they travel to Cal. They are a multi-point favorite as they go, ladies and gentlemen, across the country. Like the show, share the show, help us spread the gospel. This topic came up on yesterday's program, which surprisingly drew a lot of interest. I kind of teased it on yesterday's show. Why is housing development in the Crozet area now kiboshed and no in my backyard, NIMBY fashion, while development down Fifth Street Extended and Avon Extended is far from kiboshed and seems to be almost ramrodded? I'll have try to answer that question on today's program. For those that live in Crozet, they're like, Jerry, there's so much development here. What are you talking about? It's been thrown and ramrodded down our throat. My point is, over the last 12 to 24, 36 months, Crozetians have done a very good job of in my backyarding development, where Southside Charlottesville, Avon Extended, Fifth Street Extended, Judah lives down there. Judah's parents live down there. Avon and Fifth Street Extended. They're pretty much like, either are they in tune with what's happening, or do they not care with what's happening? That topic on today's program. Judah, I ask you this question every day. Which headline most intrigues you and why?
I like the discussion of which brand you can franchise. I'd like to hear other people's thoughts. Obviously, Bodo's and Riverside are not the only nice brands, good brands in Charlottesville. And I'm sure there are certainly others that people feel would make good nationwide businesses.
Deep Throat says, weirdly, I've invested in 2 bagel businesses in my life. One was a literal bagel, zero recovery, even though it was touted all over the place as the best bagels in Philly. The other one never got to opening because it turned out by accident the promoters leased with option to buy a location that turned out to be the last piece of assemblage project by a big developer. So it was sold for a big profit, but never a bagel boiled. Bodo's has got 3 locations.
Yeah.
Technically, they're kind of flirting with franchising. At one time, each of those 3 locations owned by 3 different people. Now those 3 locations owned by 2 people. They serve very distinct populations of Charlottesville, or portions of the population. Mm-hmm. The corner students, hospital workers, and faculty, maybe some tourists. Preston Avenue and Route 29, very distinct customer bases with some overlap, but not probably a tremendous amount of overlap. We will talk this story on the program, but first I want to lead with the Albemarle County storyline from yesterday that's got some people talking, I've been told. Albemarle County, specifically Crozet versus Southside Charlottesville, and Southside Charlottesville should be defined by what, Judah?
Should be
Fifth Street Extended and Avon Extended, let's call it Southside Charlottesville. Okay.
Is that, how well connected are those?
What do you mean?
I mean,
you've been down Fifth Street Extended and Avon Extended, right?
Yeah. But there's not really a whole lot of crossover once you get closer to, I mean, there's, obviously you can go through the Fifth Street parking lot. But where else?
Cherry Avenue connects there. Cherry connects 5th and Avon, and the early parts of 5th and Avon.
Yeah, the early parts.
You can go down the end of 5th and Avon and link that way. Is that 20 that links those roads? Those are connected. They're parallel. They're a stone's throw apart. They're very similar in nature. And goodness gracious, Fifth Street and Avon are ramrodded with housing development. Judah Wickhauer, we're going to talk about why it seems the development seems to be pushed down the throat of Avon and Fifth Street without much resistance, where the development of late that's being pushed down Crozet's throat is featuring very organized and strategized resistance. Now, before I offer commentary, before you offer your thoughts, I will say this. Crozet, 20 years ago, I got here in the summer of 2000 as the first year at the University of Virginia. I'm now 25 years living in this area. Don't recognize Crozet. Old Trail, ramrodded development, the Jessup family, the massive land and acreage owner in Crozet. The Bates family, I believe, started the development. The Bates family has since ceded the development of Old Trail to other interested parties. The Old Trail development, if you had told me, 20 to 25 years ago that Crozet would look like what it is today, I would say you're full of the doo-doo. A microcosm of Crozet's evolution or Crozet's change might be the Western Albemarle football team. I first started working in media as a rising third year at the University of Virginia. This was before my third year started, so this was circa 2002. And circa 2002, I was looking to pay my way through college, books, tuition, board, have some spending money, doing anything possible, waiting tables at Ruby Tuesdays at Barracks Road, which I believe is chopped salad, working day bartender at Ruby Tuesdays at Barracks Road, hustling foosball and pool at the Greenskeeper, and other places, playing in poker games, running a sports book, just being an entrepreneur. I also had an affinity for sports and was pretty good at writing, so I randomly walked into the Daily Progress, saw Jerry Ratcliffe, the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer and the star of the Jerry and Jerry Show, sitting at his cubicle, and I walked in with some creative writing clips and said, "I'd like to write sports for you." He was sitting there eating a Big Bacon classic from Wendy's, enjoying a Coca-Cola and eating some French fries while sitting at his computer screen, turned over, said, you got any clips? I said, none sports related, but I have this creative writing piece about a mission trip I took to Mexico that helped me get into the University of Virginia as my essay. He said, let me read it. Read the essay on the spot, said, you're pretty good at this. Gave me a shot as a sports writer where I was working for $30 a story. My first assignment covering the Covenant girls volleyball team, private school, Covenant. And that $30 a story part-time gig turned into, a handful of years of working as a sports writer. I remember covering Western Albemarle High School football early in my career. So in the fall of 2002, and in the fall of 2002, which is roughly 23 years ago, Steve Isaacs was the head football coach. One of the stars of that football team, Chad Wood, watches this program routinely. And Steve Isaacs, his Western Albemarle football team, was the class, the pinnacle, the top of the Jefferson District. They ran a single wing offense, misdirection offense, behind an offensive line that was bruising. They were country strong, the Western Albemarle offensive line. Brian Leskinek was the star on this football team. He ended up being a preferred walk-on at the University of Virginia, then transferred to James Madison University, I believe. They won Jefferson District championships. Steve Isaacs was the talk and toast of Friday Night Lights and the Jefferson District. And you watched Western Albemarle football in 2002, 2003, 2004 under Steve Isaacs, and you saw a program that was absolutely proliferated with country-strong football players. Now you look at Western Albemarle football, and they could never run that offense. What was once football players that drove to practice in Ford F-150s and Chevy Silverados lifted while blasting Garth Brooks is now a football team that has proliferated with football players that drive Jeep Cherokees and Toyota Grand Highlanders and BMW X5s, BMW X7s, and mommy and daddy's hand-me-down Volvos. It's a completely different socioeconomic demographic that's part of this football team. And why I'm kind of telling this story to the viewers and listeners, 22 years ago, 20 years ago, 19, 18 years ago, heck, probably 17, 16 years ago, Western's football team was just blue-collar guys that smashed mouth you in the face. Now Western's football team is not country strong. They're instead football players that are moonlighting, that are really lacrosse and football players and golfers and tennis players and soccer players. Not football focused, but guys that are pretty good athletes that aren't country strong, but they're wearing pads and a helmet. And it's a microcosm, a little bougie. It's a little bougie. I mean, they call Western Almaro Stab West for a reason, right? And it's a microcosm of what's happened at Crozet. So I tell this story because Crozatians who watch and listen to this show will be like, Jerry, what are you talking about? We've been ramrodded with development, and this is a completely different community. A completely different community than what it was, okay? I will say this over the last 24, 36 to 48 months, so 2 to 4 years, maybe, call it 5 years, Crozatians have done a really good job of organizing, strategizing, and galvanizing against development and have embodied a not in my backyard mindset, which is contrary to the designated growth area of what Crozet is supposed to be. They're supposed to have this development. It's supposed to be this congested. It's supposed to have this many rooftops. Maybe they've surpassed capacity, but this is where the growth was supposed to happen. You contrast that with Avon Extended and 5th Street Extended, where your parents live, and you don't see the same not in my backyard resistance. You don't see the same galvanization against development. If 165 units like Cavalier Crossing, which is now what, a stain on 5th, a taint on 5th, the joke that we have on this program, the owners, an out-of-market real estate investment trust is going before Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors. We have planning commissioners and supervisors watching the program now. And this out-of-market real estate investment trust REIT from Northern Virginia is going to ask the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors to give us the green light to build 165 additional units at the old Cavalier Crossing location, now called a Tane on 5th. Stupid name. And what's probably going to happen is it's going to be met with very little resistance at the Planning Commission in the public portion comment or at the supervisor meeting in the public portion comment. And this is going to be rubber stamped. This will be rubber stamped. If this same 165 multifamily units had come to Crozet in any capacity, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every Volvo, every Prius, every Subaru, every X7, every Highlander, every 4Runner, every Cherokee would be in attendance, speaking before the commission and the supervisors, saying, you cannot allow this, you won't allow this. If you do, we will string you up in effigy. And I ask this question to you, the viewer and listener, why the difference? I ask you, Judah, why the difference?
I would say community. I don't know that all of Crozet is a, what do you call it, a block, but I think there's enough of them that they can, you know, grab the pitchforks and get some stuff done. Whereas 5th Street, Avon, what's the community connection there? There's just, I feel like it's too diverse of a group of people without the what's the word I'm looking for? Without the identity of having a name. Like Crozet.
That's fair.
Crozatians. What do you call people on Avon and 5th Street Extended? There's no real...
Southsiders?
Maybe.
I think that's a fair argument. You have in Crozet a massive neighborhood in Old Trail that's
Yeah.
HOA,
Yeah.
where down Avon and Fifth Street you have pretty large neighborhoods, Redfields, Mountain Valley Farm, Oak Valley. What's the one right next to Redfields? The Woodlands is another one. Mill Creek, Lake Renovia. Is it
Yeah.
Foxcroft, Fox Chase over there?
Yeah.
On Avon Extended. But there's a bunch of splintered HOAs.
Yeah, they're diverse, and I don't feel there's any real identity connection there between a lot of those people. I would
You
guess.
also have had in Scottsville, the Scottsville District Supervisor, Albemarle County Board of Supervisor representative, the Scottsville District, the last few terms, Mike Pruitt is in the office now. Donna Price was the previous Albemarle County Board of Supervisors from the Scottsville District. Let me see if I can find some other ones. Donna Price was very pro-housing. Albemarle County Board of Supervisors, Scottsville District Representatives. Mike Pruitt's pro-housing. Neil Williamson's watching the program. Who are some of the other ones that have represented the Scottsville District on the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors? The last two off the top of my head, and I should know further back, Donna Price and Mike Pruitt have been pro-housing. The Crozet Whitehall representative, Ann Malik, certainly not pro-housing. Neil Williamson makes this comment. Former Whitehall Planning Commissioner Tom Loach, 8 years on the Whitehall seat, never voted in favor of a development project in Crozet. He voted in favor elsewhere, but never in Crozet. Okay, you have a much larger Hispanic community down Avon Extended, Fifth Street Extended, than you do in Crozet. Perhaps this much larger Hispanic community, English as a second language community, is not as in tune with day-to-day government as some
100%.
that you have in Crozet.
Yeah.
You have more retirees in Crozet that can follow government. Neil Williamson says Scottsville District, Lindsay Dorier, Chris Dumbler did not finish his term because of brouhaha with the law, right? The folks, thank you, Carol Thorpe, the folks that live in Crozet now are opposing everything.
Yeah.
The folks that live Fifth Street and Albemarle Extended, Fifth Street and Avon Extended, are opposing nothing.
Yeah, I don't think there's just not a...
And you could say the infrastructure down Fifth Street Extended and Avon Extended is worse off than the infrastructure in Crozet right now.
Really?
Kale Elementary, Mountain View is beyond capacity. Somehow they've greenlit a Wawa next to a Tiger Fuel, next to a Fifth Street Station shopping asphalt epicenter. They have similar challenges with entry and exit, limited roadway going in and out of Fifth Street and Avon Extended. Crozet's got the same situation. Crozet would never have greenlit some of this development that we've seen in Fifth Street and Avon Extended. Certainly not these 165 apartments that are going to go and probably get rubber stamped. Mm-hmm. If you were a betting man, would you say the $165 would be approved with cap crossing?
Yeah, probably.
I would too. I would absolutely say it.
How would you oppose it, though? What would be the argument? Just that infrastructure's not there. We've got
schools at capacity. Roads can't accommodate this demand. Fire and rescue can't get there. We're strangled and throttled with quality of life. I also think that you have a socioeconomic, situation from a wealth standpoint. Wealth opposes development. Crozet is wealthier than Fifth Street and Avon Extended. All these factors are creating a interesting dichotomy with these two little pockets of Albemarle County that are both designated growth areas. How about this one? Fifth Street Extended and Avon Extended are in the urban ring, and their political ideologies are very similar to Charlottesville's, which are activists and very left-leaning. Crozet, while leaning left from center, not certainly as far left as Avon and Fifth Street Extended. The Charlottesville city bleed over in ideology with Fifth Street and Avon Extended. I mean, Fifth Street and Avon Extended are Charlottesville city ideology. You run for the Scottsville District seat in the Board of Supervisors, ladies and gentlemen, that Mill Creek voting block, which is Avon and Scotts and Fifth Street Extended, will determine most likely who wins that race. The equation to win the Scottsville District Supervisor seat is this. You can crush and dominate voter turnout in the Fifth Street, Avon Extended voting block. And if you're going to do that, you're going to be very left-leaning. Mike Pruitt's a great example. Donna Price is a great example. Yeah. If you are opposite that ideology, if you're more centered or even right, you're going to have to dominate Glenmore, dominate the town of Scottsville voting blocks, and hope you don't get annihilated in the Mill Creek voting block. Very interesting. Spencer Pouchard missed a lot. We love when you watch the program, Spencer. Neil Williamson, Jane Dittmar finished Chris Dummler's term. He's exactly right. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. We'll put them in the feed. Anything you want to add? I would suggest to your parents who live down this area that they should be extremely mindful that 165 apartments are being built next to their gorgeous and beautiful house on acreage.
I'll let them know. I doubt they're going to...
They don't care. There it is right there. You have retirees that will probably...
Care,
okay.
But,
you have retirees that may not do anything. Mm-hmm. Versus the same retirees in Crozet would do something. Lonnie Murray watching the program. He says, this year's Western team has really improved dramatically. I don't know what the coach is doing, but it's working. They have improved dramatically. But it's interesting how Western has gone from the penthouse, how they were in the early 2000s under Steve Isaacs and early Ed Pierce era, to outhouse for the last 5 or 6 years. Lonnie Murray says, I'll say, though, that Western does have some really excellent teams outside of football. Yes, they do. Cross country, lacrosse, soccer, swimming, golf. I know this inside and out. So what Western athletic teams do well? You don't even need to know the sports to know this answer.
Wrong person to ask.
You don't even need to know the sports to know this answer.
You're talking about the country club sports?
There you go. Western is good at the country club sports. Stab West. Western is one of the best tennis programs in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Western golf, Western lacrosse, Western cross country, lacrosse and soccer, swimming. These are... there was at a time where Western was the dominant football team, where boys in jacked up Silverados and F-150s pounding Budweiser after football games, going to bonfires in fields, sitting around fires till midnight or 1 in the morning, slugging Bud Heavies. That was the way of life. Now the way of life is pack the X7 or the X5 or the Eddie Bauer Grand Cherokee and drive to a $1.3 million tricked out basement party where you're watching a big screen and your earbuds are in and you're on your iPhones, wearing Louis Vuitton, Roback, and Vineyard Vines instead of Carhartt overalls and what's another country brand I'm running out? Help me out. Carol Thorpe says they might as well rename the Scottsville District the Mill Creek District. 100% right, Carol Thorpe. Queen ejaculate. Spencer Pouchard, I can foresee Avon Extended, maybe even Scottsville Road being 4 lanes by the time I retire. That would be an absolute travesty to have Scottsville Road 4 lanes. But Spencer Pouchard, I agree with what you're saying.
Why would that be a travesty?
I mean, the pros of making Scottsville Road 4 lanes, is it would make it safer. Yeah. And 20 into Scottsville is a death trap.
You're stuck behind
It's a death trap.
It's going 25 miles per hour.
It's an absolute death trap, driving 20 Scottsville, especially at night when you know a boatload of those folks driving 20 Scottsville have been partaking. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a death trap. I get the 4 lanes would make it safer.
Even 3.
But at the same time, you're going to carve up a piece of southern Albemarle County that is God's country. And a focus by government to keep it green space. I don't know if you've realized, you have realized, I don't know if you've realized, viewers and listeners, but the older I've gotten, and I've gone from 18-year-old living here to now husband, father of two, business owner, mortgage, focus on retirement, what my legacy is for my kids are. So we've gone from 18, closing down the bars, chasing girls, getting after it, waking up at 11 in the morning, to waking up at 5:30 in the morning, I still go to bed at like midnight. I sleep like 5 hours a night. Still going to bed at midnight, but not closing the bars down. Mm-hmm. And my mindset's just shifted, and I just like, I like the green space, the quality of life. The traffic is insane. The impact it's having on driving anywhere. There was a time before COVID where you could get anywhere in this community in less than 10 minutes. Try that now.
How long before COVID was that?
Outside of Route 29, you could have gotten anywhere in this community before COVID in less than 10 minutes. Outside of this community.
Always.
Oh, come on. Viewers and listeners know exactly what I'm talking about.
There were times it took me more than 10 minutes just to get out of Barracks Road.
When did you go to Barracks Road?
Barracks Road Shopping Center. This is back when, I don't know, back when I was working for someone else. I don't remember. I just remember that
You've been working here for 16 years.
Yeah. There was a time before then.
There was a time before me?
Yeah. And one time I went into Barracks Road Shopping Center to look for some lunch and quickly realized my mistake and spent the next 10 minutes trying to get out.
All right. Comments coming in quickly. John Blair, this is right up his alley. John Blair is a Southside Charlottesville patriarch, family man. He says, Jerry, as you know, I believe AC 44 is the single worst comprehensive plan adopted in Albemarle County history. Massive mistakes abound. But here are the numbers that this document states for household median income. $141,000 for the Western Ridge West Hall census tract, $74,000 for Oak Hill and Southwood.
Wow.
Now, that $74,000 is impacted, and the $74,000 is Avon Fifth Street Extended. That's median family household income right there. That $74,000 is impacted by Southwood dramatically.
Yeah.
Impacted by Southwood dramatically. And the $141,000 for Crozet, call it, has been driven by the quality of Western schools, has been driven by an Old Trail neighborhood that's built around a golf course and live, work, play. Southside Charlottesville doesn't have an Old Trail that it can hang its hat on. The closest thing that Southside Charlottesville has to an Old Trail that it can hang its hat on is what?
I don't know.
Mosby Mountain?
Yeah, maybe. But that's a very small population.
Not even close to Old Trail.
No, not even.
Not even, what, 10, 15% of Old Trail, Mosby Mountain? If you
Probably
combine Mosby Mountain with Redfields and with Oak Hill, is it Oak Hill? What's the one next to Redfields? I used to live in Redfields on Rockledge Drive. How do I not remember this?
You're talking about the newer
Yeah.
construction?
I
don't know.
You should know this.
What?
What is the one, John, that is right next to Redfields? How do I not know this? Oak Hill. Isn't it Oak Hill? I think it's Oak Hill. Those are 750,000 to like 1,000,001 homes. If you combine Mosby Mountain, Mountain Valley Farm, Oak Hill, and Redfields, you're not even close to flirting with Old Trail.
Yeah, probably not.
What are your thoughts, viewers and listeners? Put them in the feed. I'll relay them live on air. Georgia Gilmer says, absolutely, Jerry. And yes, Judah, he's right. 10 to 12 minutes to most anywhere before COVID, but not anymore. Carol Thorpe says, Jerry, you're maturing. Congratulations. I wish more people in our area would try it. Spencer Pushard, AC 44. Any update that you know of about the development south of I-64 and Route 29? I'll ask around about that, Spencer Pushard. I respect you, Spencer Pushard. Lonnie Murray. says, as I understand, Judah, you cannot make Scottsville Road 4 lanes. Actually, that was Lynn Snyder that said that, not Lonnie Murray. Lonnie Murray says, more lanes does not make traffic better. It usually makes traffic worse. It's a pretty well-studied phenomenon. Now he's getting into the Natalie Oshrin road diet conversation. The old road diet from Natalie Oshrin, who drives from Charlottesville City, where she's a counselor, to Pippin Hill to sling $250,000 weddings. You don't think I should bring that up? You always cringe when I bring that up. As you cringe when I used to say Michael Payne lives in his parents' basement, which he did. I've been told he's moved out of his parents' basement now, though.
It's good news. Congratulations.
You don't think I should bring up that Natalie Oshrin, who is a bike and pedestrian advocate, who ran a campaign on bicycle and pedestrian safety, and ran a campaign on road diets, narrowing roads, and taking away the emphasis of vehicles on city roads, just happens to get in her car to drive to North Garden to sling $250,000 weddings at Pippin Hill?
I think there's a difference between wanting to take away the focus on cars while understanding that people do still need to drive, and like pretending you're for like the environment and lower emissions and stuff like that while owning a private plane and flying literally everywhere you go.
The king of Redfields, Bob Yarborough, watching the program. Yes, you are right. It's Oak Hill. Homes are pushing well over $1 million now.
Yeesh.
Here's what's bananas. You can buy a home in Old Trail on a postage stamp lot. That's $1 million plus. It's insane.
Yeah.
Even the attached housing stock in Old Trail is $1 million, flirting with $1 million.
Oh my goodness.
$1 million just
talking
is
about
not luxury anymore. The luxury threshold now in Albemarle County is what? $1.5 million, $1.7 million, $2 million? There's so much $1.5 million that has land that's going to need to be gutted. Comments are coming in quickly on this one. This is a topic that clearly has got a lot of people. See, these are the kind of topics I want to do on the show. Oak Hill Farm, thank you, John Blair, that a lot of people can relate to. Deep Throat says this. He says, I love it when the same people say adding lanes doesn't reduce traffic, and of course, adding any housing supply increases affordability. Left brain doesn't know what the right brain is doing when you only have half a brain. Deep Throat. For the record, full brain answer is there is potential for induced demand in both the road and housing contexts when considered locally. All right, next topic. It's the 115 marker. What do you got, J-Dubs?
Special BOV meeting on Monday.
What's going on Monday? They got 2 meetings. One meeting they've announced the agenda for. We're going to whittle down the list for the next president at the University of Virginia. We know what one meeting is about.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, if the Board of Visitors names a president before Spanberger beats Winsome Earl Sears, and one of the polls coming out says the Spanberger lead is 7 points now.
Yeah, down to 7.
It was double digits, but the Jay Jones texting fiasco has narrowed the Winsome Earl Sears Spanberger race. Our son watches YouTube, much to my wife's and I disappointment, and Spanberger is ramrodding ads onto my kids' YouTube content, which makes no sense because my kid is 7. Her algorithm and her ad team are choosing to ramrod ads for her campaign in front of a 7-year-old that's going to vote in 11 years.
That is not money well spent.
It's not money well spent. He gets in the car the other day and said, Dad, Spanberger better not win. I said, why? He goes, her commercials suck. That's literally what he said in the back of the Ford Explorer. I'm like, who do you want to win? He goes, Earl Sears. I said, why? He goes, because she has less commercials on YouTube. I respected it.
That's a consideration.
Yeah.
There have been times when I just said, you know what? I absolutely hate this company just because I keep being forced to watch their bloody commercials.
We live in a world of commercialization. This is a commercial. People don't know it. This is a commercial. We know one of the meetings on Monday is for the next president to whittle down the list. The other meeting has a nondescript agenda that they're not releasing. It's going to be held behind closed doors. Yeah. Are we led to believe that this meeting, UVA, on Monday with the BOV, is about the Kenterprise, the white-collar racketeering, with Craig Kent as the focal point? Or are we led to believe that this closed-door meeting is about Katrina Carlson and Change Your Socks deeds?
And
is it about Jim Ryan? Is it about Trump and the compact and the Mahoney agreement?
Why not all of the above?
Is it all of the above? It's only an hour on the agenda. Can't talk all those things. My bet it's the Kenterprise and the white-collar racketeering. What's your bet?
I mean, you've got the rector and vice rector, who are both facing quite a bit of scrutiny from.
Change Your Socks deeds.
They're the ones that were
and Carlson.
Asked the 46 ever so important questions.
Philip Dow is convinced Winsome Earl Sears will win. Can we bet some scotch on this, Philip Dow? Philip Dow, I'll sweeten the bet for you. Let's bet this. I will put up 2 bottles of scotch.
Wow.
Macallan 10 or older versus your 1 bottle of scotch, Macallan 10 or older. 2 of my bottles versus 1 of your bottles. You have Sears, I have Spanberger. Are you taking that bet, Philip Dow? You're a gentleman. You put yes in the comment section. We have a gentleman's agreement bet. My 2 bottles of Macallan Scotch, aged 10 years at least, versus your 1 bottle. You taking that bet, Philip Dow? You got Sears, I got Spanberger. Let's see what happens on Monday. My hunch is that Board of Visitors meeting is on this white-collar racketeering lawsuit where the plaintiffs allege that Kent's bullying, his white-collar racketeering, his medical chart changing, his fraudulent billing. He's the leader, was the leader of the UVA health system as the CEO. My bet is that's what this is about. Next topic, what do you got at the 119 marker, Judah Wicker?
UVA receives another. Oh, wait, is this?
What do you got?
I don't think I got one of these in here. What local to CVille F&B brand? Let's talk about that one.
Did you launch the show with the wrong headlines?
Just one.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. That frustrates me so much. All right, the Board of Visitors. Is it the what brand local to Charlottesville is best for franchising?
Yeah.
All right. Is the answer a slam dunk Bodos? I'm emotionally and physically getting over that mistake right now. Is the answer obvious Bodos? Is that what we're going to say?
I think that's one of the best ones.
I think you've come up with the best one.
It's not just it's also what they serve. Like I've never heard of a deli egg until I went to Bodos.
But that also works
amazing.
Against a franchise because that's going to require marketing to educate customers in other markets what a deli egg is.
That's fair, I think. But if you start the franchise and you get it, once you get people coming in, you just focus something like the deli egg front and center, so that you quickly, first of all, the people coming in see it, and then if it's good enough, they start getting the word out. Word of mouth is a great way of building a brand.
I will say one that's local that would make an incredible franchise is Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. 61 consecutive years in business, John Vermillion and Andrew Vermillion have built an institution. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. They are not a franchise. We are lucky to have them in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia. They have a mechanic on site to repair your vacuums. We suggest you buy the Miele vacuum at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. a mechanic to fix your pool cleaning robots, and any sanitary supply need that you have. They have in-market free delivery. Free delivery, day of delivery. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply on East High Street and charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. Vermillions are awesome people. All right, my short list is the follows. John Blair says Barco's, the donut shop over there on Fontaine.
It's called Barco's?
It's Barco's. You know, the New Jersey donut shop?
Barco's.
The caked donut?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. What else would you franchise viewers and listeners? A local to Charlottesville food and beverage brand. What would you franchise? I said Riverside, but after further thought, I don't think Riverside would be good to franchise. Because it's that old school charm that would be impossible to duplicate through design and flair and through feng shui and through smoke and mirrors. You go into Riverside and it's the same booths, it's the same servers, it's the same stained ceiling, it's the same, hard to franchise that. Andy McClure tried to scale Citizen Burger Bar to other markets. Now down to one Citizen Burger Bar in the downtown mall. He had Clarendon in Northern Virginia. He had Richmond at one time. It was considering other locations, but it's now down to one Citizen Burger Bar.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to sell Riverside as a smash burger place when you've got a literal brand called Smash Burgers.
What's the Smash Burger brand?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
There's a Smash Burgers food and beverage franchise?
We've eaten there in New Jersey. I've seen them in
I thought that was Shake Shack.
No, that was
Smash Burgers?
Smash Burgers.
Okay.
And I've seen them in airports. They're all over the place. So trying to sell Smash Burgers is, it really has to have something special. Two of the two breakfast places we've had around here that I miss both of were, I felt, fairly unique as breakfast spots were Bluegrass Grill and the recently closed Blue Moon Diner. Those had some wonderful breakfast options.
But Bluegrass Grill and Blue Moon Diner would be difficult to franchise. What you want to franchise is QSR, quick service, fast casual. That's the franchise play. Franchising sit down is not a good play right now. QSR, fast casual is what you want to franchise. I would say Little John's, but Little John's has now failed twice. Okay, is the second failure Stefan Freeman, or is the second failure an indication that Little John's is dead? Okay, QSR, fast casual franchise, that's the tough one. El Carbone, although I think the owners of El Carbone are trying to distance them. No, I think the El Carbone owners are now trying to franchise the brand, and they rebranded the one by Coors Brothers on 29 North. El Carbone is one, right? Mud House is literally trying to either corporately scale or franchise. Mud House is one. The guy who bought Shenandoah Joe's from Dave Fafara, the Darden graduate, is trying to turn Shenandoah Joe's into the Starbucks of coffee. Shenandoah Joe's
of coffee.
now, Shenandoah Joe's now
Starbucks
owned by a
of coffee.
Darden graduate and not Dave Fafara, our beloved friend. He made a killing, by the way, by exiting Shenandoah Joe's. Dave Fafara, great man, great human, love that guy.
No doubt.
Going to belly up to a bar and have a beer with him very soon, Dave Fafara. Spud Nuts, Megan Hart says. Chaps Ice Cream. They're actually Baugh and Romer trying to franchise Chaps. Tony sold Chaps. He still maintains ownership of the real estate on the downtown mall, Tony, but he sold Chaps to an Asian family that has Darden School ties that is looking to franchise Chaps. They are trying to franchise Chaps as we speak. Conan Owen of Sir Speedy says Roots and Christian's Pizza. Christian literally franchised Christian. The original Christian's Pizza owner franchised Christian's. He did do that. The Christian's Pizza, for instance, on Pantops was a franchise, and it was going to try to scale to Zion's Crossroads, but the franchisee and Christian had a falling out because Christian said, if you're going to Zion's Crossroads, I want another location payment, a payment for an additional location. And they were like, nah, dog. And then that's when they pieced out of Christian's and made Lilo's Pizza. And then that's led to the demise of Lilo's. And then whatever the brand that followed Lilo's that I knew immediately wasn't going to work, where it was going to be like custom your own pizza, selling expensive pizzas that were like pocket size, and now it's a Domino's on Pantops, which is a travesty. Roots is trying to franchise. Actually, Roots is doing this as corporate-owned stores. Roots is UVA grads that are doing this. It's interesting.
So
The
they're not
beloved
franchising,
brands,
they're just
the
expanding.
beloved brands that are local to Charlottesville that are scaling because of UVA infused talent and capital. Go ahead, Judah.
Nothing. I was just saying that. So they're not franchising; they're just expanding.
Well, if you franchise, you're selling basically the playbook
Yeah.
to somebody that's outside of your corporate, hierarchy.
Right.
And you're kind of giving them the playbook success. Roots is doing this by doing it with company money, corporate-owned stores. James Watson says Sticks. Bill Hamilton, the guy behind Hamilton's, Bill and Kate Hamilton are behind Sticks. They have one in Richmond, that's correct. I believe there was another one, right? There's Preston Avenue Sticks. There's Pantop Sticks. Where was the other Sticks? Wasn't there a third Sticks, James, or is there still a third Sticks, or is it closed? But there is one in Richmond. Brazos would be a great franchise. The guy who owns Brazos, one-time member of the Dave Matthews Band, the Brazos owner, pieced out of the Dave Matthews Band because I don't think he saw the upside at the time. Fun little fact that a lot of people don't know. Anything you want to add to that, Judah Wickower? I think you got the best one, Bodos, by the way.
I mean, that was low hanging fruit. It's not like I did any strenuous mental gymnastics picking Bodos.
Well, yeah, that was still the right pick. Lonnie Murray, since 1977, with one exception, the incumbent president's party loses the Virginia governor's election the next year. That was a great fact right there.
Yeah.
Lonnie Murray, you make the program better. All right, it's 1:30. We got to make some money. Olivia Branch is correcting me. She says weddings cost more than $250,000 at Pippin. So Natalie Oshrin getting in her Prius to drive from the city of Charlottesville to Pippin Hill to sling 300,000, 400,000 plus weddings. That's like when Mike Signer was on city council and Mike Signer was working for Willow Tree, negotiating a deal to bring one of Charlottesville's largest employers away from the downtown mall as its general counsel to the woolen mills and the wool factory. Mike Signer, a city councilor and the general counsel of Willow Tree, negotiated a deal to bring
To send a business out of Charlottesville.
out of Charlottesville one of the key firms on the downtown mall, over the city line into the county to the wool factory. Natalie Oshrin, while not as significant as Mike Signer, a counselor negotiating a deal to send hundreds of employees out of the city to the county, Natalie Oshrin, pimping road diets, bicycle and pedestrian safety, while getting in her Prius to drive to Albemarle County to sling $300,000 weddings for the tax revenue of Albemarle's behalf. Curtis Shaver says Sticks. Curtis would know. He says there was one at Weeman Mary, but it closed. Thank you. Thank you, Curtis. Love Curtis Shaver. Can we get Curtis's photo on screen? It's one of my favorite photos of any viewer and listener that watches the show. Anytime I see this picture of Curtis Shaver, is it on screen? Anytime I see this picture of Curtis Shaver, I get happy and I smile. Look at that photo. Is that not a great photo?
That is.
That's a great photo. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Viewers and listeners, look at the screen for the one and only Curtis Shaver, inner circle
I've always
friend
been
right
curious about where that photo was taken.
Curtis, where was this photo taken?
Looks like
Are you holding a golf club right there, Curtis?
looks like he's got a golf club and he's sitting in a Russian bathhouse.
He's sitting in a Russian bath. With his clothes on, Judah?
Well, it's they cleared out when they heard that Curtis was coming.
With his clothes on in a Russian bathhouse?
I don't know. I'm just saying what I think it looks like.
It's 1:31. Where's that photo taken, Curtis? We got to get out of here. We got work to do. What other? Can I give some love to Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes? Any custom hardscape need that you may have, you contact Tim Hess and Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes. They are the best of the best. They will actualize any dream that you have for hardscapes at your house, at your commercial, at your place of business. Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes, ladies and gentlemen, are absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic office on the downtown mall in the old Wells Fargo building, Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes. It's 1:32. We may have to get to some of these other headlines tomorrow. Which ones did we miss?
Let's see. We missed out on the CVille Ale Trail.
He says that's Hotel Green in Richmond, the mini golf course in an old hotel. CVille Ale Trail. We'll save CVille Ale Trail tomorrow. CVille Ale Trail is a good start to revitalizing downtown. The designated outdoor refreshment area is what CVille Ale Trail needs to evolve into. Virginia football, is that the other headline we missed?
We've got what is the most likely upset we will see on Election Day, and yes, the UVA news.
What is the most likely upset we will see on Election Day? Jason Miyares beating Jay Jones for Attorney General is not an upset because Miyares is the incumbent.
Yeah,
Spamberger we think is going to win, right?
I think Earl Sears, if she wins, would be the biggest.
Earl
craziest
Sears would
upset.
be a shock, but neither of us think that's going to happen, do we?
I think it's going to be tough to do.
Yeah. Do you see Scott Smith beating Fred Missile?
Probably not.
Okay. So are we saying a week from today that there are going to be no upsets?
It's unlikely.
Unlikely. I totally agree. If there was an upset that was going to happen, which would it be?
I think the closest we'll get is Reed potentially beating Hashmi?
Would you say Dylan Beck beats Puryear? That's your boy, Dylan Beck. He's run about as many times as I have on my left hand, fingers as I have on my left hand.
Do you have more on your right?
That was a dad joke.
Oh, no, it's just you made
What's
it seem
a-
like. you made it
What's a
seem like your
three-letter
left
word
had a
that
different
starts
number.
with gas? What's a three-letter word that starts with gas?
It took me a little bit to.
You got it
figure out.
quickly. You got it faster. I've tried it on a handful of people. A three-letter word that starts with gas. Car. That's the Tuesday edition of the I Love CVille show. Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller. Thank you for joining us.